All right, welcome back to another video. In this one, I'm really just gonna be giving away one of the biggest things that I learned that had like a direct impact on the number of book calls that we was able to generate for our offer and ultimately the number of clients that we was able to sign. Like it just, as soon as I learned it, our book calls, our clients instantly increased every time. Like it's crazy. And when I teach this stuff to my customers, the same effect happens every single time. It's so important and I wanna give it away in this video. So if you find value in this, go ahead, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, you know, all that stuff. And let's get into it. So this is, and before you click away from the video, because you think it's some like bullshit, right? Just stick with me because it's so powerful. And I promise you, if you implement this, it will have such a profound impact on the, again, number of book calls that you generate and the amount of clients that you sign or customers that you sign for your agency or your coaching business, okay? It's so powerful. So it's on the relationship between marketing and sales and how we use that relationship to book more calls and, as I say, sign more clients. So one distinction that's super important to make before I get into the specifics is what marketing is and what sales is. Everybody mixes it up. I said in a previous video, everybody either confuses marketing and sales or they fuse marketing and sales. So they either don't know what marketing is and what sales is, or they just think it's the same thing and it's not. Okay, marketing should be outcome and method focused, and I'll get into what this means here in a minute, right? Should be outcome and method focused, and more specifically, marketing is everything before the sales call, okay? So everybody watching this video right now, or most people watching this video probably have a sales call funnel, right? You do outreach, you do ads, you do marketing, right? To get somebody onto a call, and then on that call, you sell them on whatever it is that your offer is, right? Most people have some kind of sales call funnel set up. And so in that case, everything before you actually speaking to the prospect on Zoom or on the call, everything before that is marketing. Right? And the point at which you're having a conversation with the prospect on Zoom or on the call, you're actually talking back and forth with them. That is the point at which it switches from marketing to sales, right? And sales should be product focused. And as I say, that is the sales call. So what do I mean when I say outcome and method should be marketing and product should be sales? Well, let me get into this next little section here and it will make sense. You can see here I've explained it, okay? So first of all, the term domino beliefs, okay, was popularized by Russell Brunson, right? And this is also known as the marketing thesis, right? And what this idea, this statement, what this really means is, or what it refers to is this right here. And it's so powerful that if you just understand this and you understand where marketing and where sales comes into this equation, you're gonna be so far ahead of everyone else because nobody understands this and you're gonna make so much more money, right? It's kind of a crazy claim, but just it's true, okay? So the idea, the statement goes like this. If I can make people believe that funnels, okay, are the key to online business success and are only obtainable through ClickFunnels, then all other objections and concerns become irrelevant and they have to give me money. I mean, that is such a good quote. It's kind of crazy, okay? If I can make people believe that funnels, which in Russell Brunson's case with ClickFunnels, okay, funnels here is his method, okay? Funnels is his method. Funnels is his mechanism, right? Funnels is the way in which he's going to deliver the promised outcome that he's promising. It's going to be through funnels, okay? So that's a method, right? If I can make people believe that method, okay, funnels, method, are the key or is the key to outcome, which in, again, Russell Brunson's case, the outcome that he's promising is online business success, okay? This is the outcome. Okay, so if I can make people believe that method is the key to outcome, and that method is the only way to obtain that method is through ClickFunnels or product, right? Product, then all other objections become irrelevant and they have to give me money. So going back to like the whole idea here and where marketing and where sales comes into play is now this makes more sense, right? Marketing should only focus on selling the outcome and the method, period. Right? And more specifically, if you're B2B and you're in a more aware market, right? Your clients kind of know, like, you know, for example, with B2C and like with like a typical biz op offer, right? In that case, usually that broad consumer market, they may not know what their specific outcome is. So you need to first sell them on the outcome, right? You need to sell them that working 9 to 5 is like it's dead end. You want to get out of it as soon as you can because you're not happy, you're not there. You need to sell them on that outcome, right? And then you need to sell them on the method, that the method is the best way to get to that outcome that they now so deeply want because you've just sold them on the outcome. Now the method is the best way to get to that outcome. right? That's what you should be focusing on in your marketing. Now, if you're in a more aware market, for example, with me and Scale Clients.io, we help agencies and coaches essentially scale to 100K a month, right? Through, finding offers, installing sales teams, finding product market fit, and a wide range of other stuff, a wide array of other stuff. But with my market, I don't need to sell them on like wanting to get more customers for their coaching offer, or I don't need to sell them on wanting to scale their client base, right? Or wanting to hit 100K a month, because you guys watching this right now, you know that you want to do that. And I know that you want to do that. So I don't need to sell you on like, you really need more clients, right? Like I just don't need to sell you on that because you're more of an aware market. So in that case, in my marketing, you go and look at all of my marketing. I never sell the outcome, right? I sell the method, always. Right? So if your ideal customer knows what their ideal outcome truly is, and typically in the B2B realm, they'll usually know what it is that they want, right? They just don't know the best way to get that thing. They don't know the best way to do that thing or get to that desired state, right? And so if that is the case for you, they know their outcome. You don't need to focus on selling the outcome, right? You need to just focus on selling the method, okay? So that's in your marketing. And then sales is when you sell the product, in this case, ClickFunnels. And the reason this just makes so much sense and it just works every time is that ClickFunnels, you're never gonna buy ClickFunnels, ever are you gonna buy ClickFunnels if, number one, you don't think it can actually help you, get to whatever desired state it is that you wanna get to, right? Maybe for you, it's not online business success. For you, more specifically, it's to sign more clients, right? But if you don't wanna sign more clients, you're really happy with what you've got going on, why would you buy ClickFunnels? You just wouldn't, right? And more specifically, if you didn't know what funnels were, right? If you had no idea what funnels were, why on earth would you ever buy ClickFunnels? You won't. So there's no point leading, right? When you lead with something, that's in the marketing, right? Because when you lead with something, it's like the thing that you're pushing at the front of everything. And what's at the front of your entire business is marketing. Because without marketing, you're not gonna have any sales. Without sales, you're not gonna have any delivery, right? So what you're leading with, if you lead with the product, unless you're retargeting or you're running to someone who knows, they're, ultra aware and they know everything about you, typically that will be, retargeting. You can lead with the product then. But before that, if you're going to a complete cold audience through outbound, through whatever your medium is, right? Outbound, ads, whatever, like why on earth would you ever lead with the product when they don't even know what funnels is or what their desired outcome is? It just doesn't make any sense. So that's why in the marketing, we focus on selling the method, funnels in this case, and we focus on selling the outcome. And then once you've sold them on this, typically in a sales call funnel, that's the point at which they'll usually book in a call. And they're already sold on the method, and they're already sold on the fact that this method is the best way to get to their desired outcome, their dream outcome, right? It's the quickest way for them to get there. The quickest vehicle that's going to get them to that desired outcome is going to be through this specific method, right? Now, on the sales call, that's when you sell them on your product. And the way in which you sell the product is by pretty much saying, in so many words, the best way to get this vehicle is through product. So they know that this vehicle is the best to get to their dream outcome. And now you've got to sell them on the fact that your product is the best way to get the vehicle, which is ultimately going to get them to their dream outcome, which is really why anybody ever buys anything. It's because they think that it's going to get them to their desired outcome. They think that it's going to get them to a desired state that they want to get to, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So that's really important to understand. And I want to go through some key distinctions here. So number one is you got to be crystal clear on the outcome that you're delivering, right? This is key. If you don't know what the outcome is that you're delivering, none of this, you're not going to be able to implement any of this. And more specifically, which kind of ties into this next point here, is you need to know who you're most valuable to. Like, what segment of the market are you most valuable to, right? Because this depicts who you speak to in your marketing, and who you speak to in your marketing depicts what specific desired outcome that they have. If somebody's at 0, their desired outcome isn't $1 million a month. Their desired outcome is 10K a month. So are you more valuable to somebody who's at 0, or are you more valuable to somebody who's at 500 grand a month? Because somebody who's at 500 grand a month, their dream outcome is $1 million a month in most cases. So you need to understand, and they may be in the same niche, right? They're just at a different stage. So it's a different segment. So you need to know, who are you most valuable to? 0 a month or 500K a month? As an example, right? Same thing if you had a B2C weight loss offer, right? Are you more valuable to people who are heavily overweight? Or are you more valuable to people like me, for example, who wants to get bigger and decrease body fat, right? I'm not overweight, but I'm also not jacked. You know what I mean? But it's still the same niche, right? It's still the same, maybe it's not a weight loss offer specifically, but it's get healthier, get more fit. I'm a coach, health coach, right? Still the same industry, but it's a different segment. So you need to understand who you're most valuable to, because who you're most valuable to depicts who you speak to in your marketing. Who you speak to in your marketing depicts what outcome you're speaking to and what method you're speaking to. Or if you're even speaking to the outcome, because as I said before, if you're speaking to a more aware market, you don't need to speak to this outcome because they already know that they want that thing. So then you just speak to the method. Okay. And the final thing here is you need to understand your unique method, mechanism, or opportunity, which is the method here, right? Which is the funnels. Like, what is this for you, right? What is this for you? Because if you don't have this, and it's just that, like, you know, if I can make people believe that, I don't know, like Facebook ads is like the key to signing more clients, that's probably not going to work nowadays because everybody's tried Facebook ads and for most people, it's never worked. And so it's going to be so hard to make them believe this. So you need to package, even if you're still selling the mechanism of Facebook ads, you need to package that up into something that's more unique so that it sounds different. Right? And there's a quote that we're going to get into down here later on, which is going to be so powerful and it's going to speak directly to this idea here, which I'm talking about, right? But we'll get onto that later on down here somewhere, okay? So let's now kind of strip out marketing versus sales and the focus of each department, if you want to call it that, right? So key point number one is that you need to know who you are marketing to and who your ideal customer is, okay? This is the first thing that you need to really get clear on. Who are you marketing to and who's your ideal customer? And the way in which you're gonna get to this point is by really answering these first two questions. What's the outcome you're delivering and who are you most valuable to? Once you know those two answers, you'll then know who you're marketing to and you'll know who your ideal customer is, right? Now, if you're marketing to an unaware market, you'll need to sell the outcome first, as I've already kind of alluded to, right? If you're selling to an unaware market, right? For example, B2C biz op, right? They don't know what their dream outcome is. So you need to sell the outcome first and then you need to sell the method, which you should be positioned in a way that it's the quickest, cheapest, and most effective way to their now desired outcome because you've just sold them that, right? Now, if you're marketing to a more aware market, right, which is, as I said before, more B2B, if you're marketing to that type of market, then you need to focus more on the method and how it's different from everything else they've tried. This is key, okay? Because if you're talking about a method, like I said before, like Facebook ads, for example, most people have tried Facebook ads and most of the time it's never worked out for them, right? For like the majority of the market, okay? Now, if you're saying you need to start Facebook ads and, you know, that's gonna get you to your dream outcome, they're gonna default to, I've tried this and it didn't work. So I'm not gonna move forward with your offer. I'm not gonna book in a call. I'm not interested in this because I've tried Facebook ads and it didn't work. Right? The more specific thing here where in the marketing you need to focus on the method, but more specifically, you need to focus on the method and you need to also make sure that you market the idea of how your specific method is different from everything else I've tried. Because if they think it's the same and it didn't work for them last time, they're not going to move forward with your offer. They're like, oh, yeah, I've already tried that, doesn't work, move on, right? That's what happens every time. So you need to make sure that you differentiate it from everything else I've tried, right? Now, key point number two here is that your marketing should be, and this is the quote that I was talking about before, that is so powerful. I got this from Cole Gordon. It's amazing. It's such a good quote, right? Your marketing should be the simultaneous explanation of why everything they've tried in the past has failed and why what you have going on is different, okay? This is so powerful. Your marketing should be the simultaneous explanation of why everything they've tried in the past has failed, right? So if they've tried Facebook ads in the past and it didn't work, your method should be like, here's why what you've tried in, here's why the ads you ran in the past never worked. Point one, point two, point three. This is why it didn't work. And then the prospect's like, I get now why it didn't work, right? That's the first thing you got to sell them on. And then the second thing you got to sell them on is that why what you have going on is different. So it's like the prospect needs to see clearly and truly believe and understand. They need to be like, I get now why what I've tried in the past never worked. And I can see, yes, I can see how your method, I can see how what you have going on is different and how it's actually going to get me to wherever it is I want to go, right? But if they think that what you have going on is the exact same as what they've already tried, and they know that what they've tried didn't work, and they think that what you have is the exact same as that, they're never, ever, ever gonna buy. They're just not, right? And so also this stems across to the sales aspect as well. So I've put in here marketing, and really should be where the biggest focus is, because ideally by the time they get on the sales call, they should already be able to see why everything they've tried in the past has failed, and they should already know and see how what you have going on is different. But you need to also allude to this in the sales call as well, just to really, really drill that in, right? And as I say, this is also more aware. Naturally, by default, it's more important, I should say, for a more aware market, because If it's an unaware market, well, that means that they've never actually tried to fix the solution. So, in a B2C biz op offer style market, if they are working in a 9-to-5 right now, and they didn't even realize that they actually hate their job. They didn't realize that they want to get out of it, and like this is the worst thing ever. They need to get out of their job. They didn't realize that, but they now realize that because you've sold that as the outcome first, right? Well, you don't need to explain why everything they've tried in the past has failed, because they've not tried anything to get out of their job. Right? That's why you need to sell the outcome first, because they've not tried anything. So this is more important for in a more aware market where they've been trying all this different stuff, like trying to fix this problem, and nothing has ever worked. With those niches, that's when it becomes increasingly important to sell them on the idea of why what they've tried in the past has failed and why what you have going on is different, okay? Key point number 2, right? Key point 3 is ads, emails, content, VSLs, essentially all of your marketing assets should only speak to the outcome and method and not the product, okay? Because again, as I've already kind of alluded to, if your audience doesn't buy the outcome, if your audience doesn't buy into the outcome or the method, your product is irrelevant. The only time you should be speaking about the product is on the sales call and in the post-sales call marketing, okay? As I said before, nobody is ever gonna buy ClickFunnels if they don't truly think that that funnels is the key to their dream outcome. Why on earth else would they ever buy ClickFunnels? Ever. They just won't, right? So in the marketing, you need to sell this, and then in your sales call, you need to sell the product, okay? Now, let's move on to the sales focus. So this was all really the marketing focus and what you need to be really focusing on in the marketing. Now let's look at the sales focus. So key point 1 here is your sales call is at the point at which you focus on the product aspect of the above quote, right? Up until the sales call, you should only be focusing 100% on the outcome and the method, and it's only on the sales call that you then introduce the product as the vehicle or as the best vehicle for them to get the method or the vehicle, right? That is how you want to position the product, okay? Key point 2 is the formula works as so. The way to achieve deeply desired outcome is through method, okay? The way to achieve deeply desired outcome is through method, and the best way to implement method is through product. So buy the product, because that's going to give you that's the best way to get method, and this method is the best way to get deeply desired outcome. So you always need to be speaking to this, because ultimately this is what they're actually buying. They're not buying your product, they're not buying the method, they want to buy this desired outcome, all right? And the best way to get to that desired outcome is by implementing this method, and the best way to implement this method is by buying your product, okay? Or your service, right, if it's an agency. Now, key point 3 here, this is pretty important to finish off on. The point at which the prospect gets on a call with you, they should obviously have 100% already bought into the desired outcome, right? And ideally the method, which is achieved through marketing and pre-call homework, etc. Now, all that's left to do on the sales call is number 1, get the prospect to believe that they, first of all, cannot fix the problem on their own, right? And they can't achieve, / like the inverse of that is like they can't achieve the desired outcome because they can't fix the problem on their own, or that attempting to do so would be irresponsible due to the huge risk of wasted time and money. So it's like, don't try this on your own. We've already done all the hard work for you. And if you do try this on your own, you're gonna lose either so much money and time trying to figure it out to eventually get to like what we can just give you, or conversely, you're never gonna figure it out. So don't, that's the first thing that you need to sell them on. Like, don't try this on your own because, and there's obviously a bunch of sales things that you can do here. One of the best ways to do this is like, how long have you been experiencing this issue? You've been experiencing it for 12 months. Okay, well, I'm curious, you're a smart person. Like in that 12 months, like what have you tried to do to fix it on your own? Like, why haven't you been able to crack the code on your own? And then that sells the prospect, or that's basically gets the prospect to sell themselves on why they need help. They can't do it on their own, right? And number 2, the second thing here, like the second goal of the sales call is to position your product or offer as the absolute quickest and most effective way to implement on the method, which will ultimately lead again to the desired outcome. So like once the prospect realizes that number 1, they cannot do it on their own, and number 2, that your product or offer is not only the quickest and most effective way, but also it's the best way. There's no other offer in the market that can deliver the desired outcome in as quick a time frame as you can and in the most effective way as you can. Once they believe those 3 things, then it only comes down to logistical issues as to why they may not be able to move forward. Maybe they've got lack of money, maybe they're going on holiday for the next 2 weeks, whatever it is, doesn't matter specifically, but the idea is that they're bought in. Now it's just like, okay, how do we make this work logistically? Do you have 10K cash to pay up front? Yes, cool, let's do it, bang, and they pay. Or it's like, no, I don't have 10K, I've only got $500. Well, that's a logistical issue, which is a whole nother thing. But the important thing is that they are 110,000% bought in to the fact that you are the best person to go to realize this specific method, and that specific method is the thing that I need to get to my deeply desired outcome, and that there is no other way for me to get that method and ultimately achieve my desired outcome without moving forward with you and your offer. That is the goal. Right. And the final thing here is like the kind of like the objection that I just alluded to there. So Jordan Belfort says this, and I 100% agree with it. There's really only 3 types of objections. There's uncertainty, there's finance, okay? Uncertainty-based objections, finance-based objections, and spouse and partner objections, right? And by the way, on sales, if you've never read The Way of the Wolf, highly recommend it. It's my favorite sales book ever. And yeah, as I say, he says that in there, and I'm like, it's true, 100%. There's only 3 categories. Again, like marketing, sales, delivery in your business, there's only 3 buckets that any objection that a prospect could ever throw at you, it's going to fall into one of those 3 buckets: uncertainty, finance, partner, or spouse. That's it, okay? Now, before we handle before you ever handle an objection, you first need to ensure that the prospect 100% buys into the actual process and that they can clearly see that you are the best or only option for them to realize the desired outcome, right? You need to get them to buy in. You need to, with 100% certainty, know that they believe that, right? That they can see you as the best or only option, right? To realize the desired outcome, and that they 100% buy into the process specifically. Okay. Now, if you structured your marketing and sales correctly, then they will buy into this. They will, right? And so now that you know that, because uncertainty is just this, right? The uncertainty is an inverse of this. So if a prospect has an uncertain based objection, they will either, number one, they just don't think that what it is that you're selling, like the method that you're selling, is actually the best way for them to get to their desired outcome. Or number 2, they think that there's better options in the market, that you're not actually the best option in the market for them to actually realize that desired outcome and implement on that method. Or maybe it's both. They, number 1, don't think you're the best person to go to. And number 2, they don't actually even think that the method that you're selling is like the best way for them to get to their desired outcome. Or it's going to be one or the other. That's all uncertainty-based objections are. But if you, before that, you actually get buy-in from their end that they, no, I can see that this is the best process, right? I can completely understand that what you're selling is the thing that's going to get me to my desired outcome. And 2, you are the best person to go to. If you get that then instantly eliminates any uncertainty-based objections, because they're not uncertain. They're 100% confident about everything, okay? And so then all that's left at that point is either finance or it's spouse and partner. Right? That's the only other 2 objections that you'll have if they're 100% certain on what it is that you offer. And so now that you've been able to isolate that, you can now effectively handle their real objection and not handle the smoke screens, right? Because sometimes people may say, I don't have the money, or that's too much, or whatever it is. And you think, oh, that's a finance objection. But that's actually just a smoke screen for a deeper level of uncertainty in that they don't believe that what you're selling is actually the best thing for them, right? But obviously that's a whole nother training. So hopefully this makes sense. I promise you, if you implement on this training, this video, you'll book more calls and you'll sign more clients. Again, as soon as I understood this deeply and I implemented it, our book call rate significantly increased and our client acquisition rates significantly increased. And when I show this to customers, their book call rates and their client acquisition rates significantly increase every time without fail. So hopefully this was useful. If it was, please go ahead, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. And with that being said, I will see you in the next one.